friends. Spectacular day at Mud Fossil University today. We have a guest speaker, and this is what we'll be talking about. Goal of teaching as a profession. What is the actual goal? Does learning ever complete? Is there ever an end? And they say that's it. Once you learn this, it's over. There is no more learning to do. When does that happen? Does it ever happen? Does new knowledge ever occur? Does things change? Are teachers obligated to consider new knowledge? Is that something that they should be pretty much obligated to do, or doesn't matter? Do paying students deserve new knowledge to be considered? They're paying for it, so I would think they did. But this is going to be discussed. Now, do teachers understand fiduciary obligations? Which is something you should look up and see. Because they absolutely control the student's ability to make a living and future income, which is and they have to act in the interest of students. So let's go past that now. Do students have any legal remedies if that fiduciary obligation was not met? And I have to tell you that I have some lawyers. We have 50,000 people in the group, and there's a bunch of lawyers, and they say yes, apparently they do. But anyway, they say what would be fair and just, and who would be held accountable if there was account to be held. So let's discuss it with our guest speaker today. Okay, I specifically requested from Yale to have Professor Derek Briggs discuss this and debate this with me, but he's refused for the last 6 years to even look at mud fossils. And the problem is that I'm right down the street from Yale, and he refuses to allow them to be seen at Yale. And everybody else has taken them to Yale. I say he won't look at them, and then they laugh at me and hang up the phone. So in my mind, if Derek Briggs would do his fiduciary duty as his profession as a professor, that we could come to a resolution to this, because nobody else will pay any attention based on his demeaning response to DNA and so forth. So anyway, I'm going to give you the details that we think need to be addressed, and our friend professor here, Harvard Yale, refuses to engage. So I will just make our case, and then we will leave it at that. Okay, so here we go. Academia says they're the only source of knowledge, and Derek Briggs from Yale told me that I should go find somebody that understands rocks, which I thought that's what his job was, but I could be totally wrong. Anyway, Mud Fossil University says we are only source of proven facts. They're the only source of knowledge, but it's ethereal. It's guesses. It's speculative knowledge. It's enlightened knowledge, driven by formulas and squiggly little lines that have no meaning. Now, what have we done to support the knowledge that we profess to have? Well, the DNA sequencing was done on the mud fossils. This is one right here. That's an ancient fingertip. Human DNA came out of that. Vein, artery goes out here. That is the fingertip bone that's inside there, and that is what they call a bone silhouette. Another mud fossil bone, totally rejected by Professor Briggs. Nothing here but a dirty old rock. So anyway, and I've had 3 DNA tests. So that's it. 3 DNA tests were done, ancient protocol, in a certified lab, so there's no question it wasn't real. And they said it was dense DNA, because I know how to take it out of here from the arterial place. I know where the blood flows in these. So that was done. Then we had 7 industrial grade CAT scans. Now, these are the kind of things that Professor Derek Briggs said I would have to have done to prove my case before they would inspect them, and I of course did them, and they now say that everything I did must be wrong. So then I had an autopsy anatomist verify the things that I was saying, that these were lungs. There were lungs, they were kidneys, they were hearts, they were DNA tested lungs. You take any anatomist that has ever done an autopsy, that is the pattern of the left lung of a human being, and that is the little flap on the end that is red-blooded, and that is DNA tested, 100% mitochondrial human DNA. So, what do we have? We have the protocol, 3 ancient DNA tests done, all came back positive for the things that we had suspected, and they were. We had 7 industrial grade CAT scans done, of which I had an autopsy anatomist who owns his own autopsy school and verifies. He goes all around the world teaching autopsies. He verified it was true. The chemistry matches the expected tissue types, calcium carbonates here and there, your blood, your irons, and so forth. And so far in academia, in 6 years, I've had 100% refusal to examine by academia. So what do we have? In my opinion, I don't see anything. If they say, I'm just wrong, everything everybody else has done is wrong, the only people that they can be right are them, I say that's not right. That's either fraud, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I would say choose one of the following. In my opinion, it's fraud, it's lies, it's self-interest so they don't get embarrassed for being so incompetent. Now, it's one of those, in my mind, of course this is all just mine, I don't have any horse in this race, but if I did, I would not be happy paying these people for their opinions that go against rational facts. And I think there's a serious issue coming up from what my friends are telling me. And I have no, like I said, I have no horse in this race, but everybody that has a student loan does. Everybody that wants to be successful does. Anybody that wants to be accepted in society does. And the only ones that are being accepted in society are the ones that can pay. And what are they paying for? The only source of knowledge. Here you don't pay. And we are the only source of proven facts. My view does everything. This is accelerated light. They say it can't be done. Einstein can't be wrong. He is wrong. That's accelerated light. This is what they're asking for, is the Higgs bosons, charged particle carriers with Higgs fields surrounding them. This is actually the particle. This is the spinning particle coming. This is a particle we can't explain. Nobody's taken an interest. It's been several years, sent to everybody. Just recently again, sent to Harvard. I'll let you know how that ends. Anyway, I'll let you know who's paying attention. They're not paying attention. And then here, let me show you something else. Anything to do with mud fossils, stuff like this is being missed. This is in Fuerte de Sampiata, Bolivia. Those are tracks from an ancient vehicle that had high-tech equipment, was here just after the gigantic flood that covered the earth. And this is one of the main reasons they are upset with my research. I showed there were giants, exactly like they said. I'm showing things that make these people look silly, literally. Now, what else am I showing here? These cuts out here, what were they doing here? They were mining this when it was soft. No question it was soft. No question they were cutting slabs. No question this vehicle is designed to work in this terrain to cut these slabs. What did they do with those slabs? Oh, they were cutting, the tracks going up there, and they were cutting these slabs. This is what they were building back here with those slabs. Now look at the texture. Look at the little red spots here and there. This is tendon. This is from a gigantic creature, and that is tendon. I'll show you what it looks like when it's alive. Okay, just so you understand, this is a good long tendon, Achilles tendon. And once it hardens up in the air, it becomes just what you saw. And it actually is calcium carbonates and all that sort of stuff. It has porphyritic. It becomes porphyritic limestone, porphyritic basalt. You call it what you want. They don't know what to call it. Geologists have no clue what they're doing. There's porphyritic basalt, porphyritic limestone. It all has these inclusions in it, and they say, oh, it all comes out of volcanoes. Absolutely insane. These are the chunks they were cutting, which were wet. They put them in here as putty, and sometimes they did a really terrible job and took the bloody areas instead of the solid areas. And this guy probably got his head cut off for this. It seems to have held up, but this is the tendon and stuff. That is either a bone or a bloody area, and you can see where the blood is running out of them here and there. They use a lot of scraps in this particular spot. That is biological. I just showed you two things that cannot be denied. The mind will put up a defense against this. Yes, absolutely. But until you take it as reality, or at least look at it and take this into consideration, I just showed you vehicle tracks, and I'm showing you what they were cutting, and I'm showing you where they put it. And I'm showing you chemistry, and I'm showing you the biology, and I showed you the anatomy, I showed you the DNA, I showed you the CAT scans. I think I made my case. I didn't show any CAT scans. Actually, the truth is I only have CAT scans in a couple of videos. At the moment, I still have all of the files that Jesse did. However, the computer that I had was based on Windows, and you needed the special software to run these files, and that computer now is gone. I'm using Linux now. So anyway, but I can get them back. That's not the issue. We don't really look at them anyway. They haven't paid any attention at all. Now, this is Mud Fossil U Part 1, The Story Begins. And this is one of the CAT scans, and I don't know what I show here, to be perfectly honest with you, a couple shots of the CAT scans, but I show everything here about the beginning part and about the chemistry and what sandstone is versus mudstone versus limestone. The sandstone is the eroded area off skin. It contains mostly silicons and so. Anyway, I'm sorry I forgot about the CAT scans, but I do have the files, and everything's available. It's all available, and Jesse told me that he would scan another one if I had to have it scanned, and I hope that still holds, Jesse. And thank you, my friend. Thank you. You are a big part of this, my friend, and this will be known. This will be taken care of. This will not sit and this will not go unrectified. All right, and I thank you again. I thank everybody that's been, and I hope that nobody's been severely injured by this, but I know that if you're in the field that you're working in, they can be very vindictive. Velikovsky, they took his books off the bookshelves after being on the bestseller list for 11 weeks because the academics refused to buy any more books from the publisher. And this is the way it happens, and that is why I'm sure these labs are upset, and because even in Europe they will not do any mud fossil testing. It's not right. This is porphyritic basalt. That means porphyritic means it has all kinds of little inclusions, this and that. That is the little blood places. Those are where the blood vessels are. And these are where the veins, I believe, where it sucks it back up. But this is what filters blood through. These fibers are those grip skin fibers that I talked about. It's the exact same stuff that I showed on the bottom of that toe. All right, now that was porphyritic basalt. This is porphyritic limestone. Same sort of situation. It has all these little inclusions and things in it. Now, I've shown the exact same stuff here. I have many samples of very, very similar stuff. And I showed you the little lungs and all these. They're showing these same sort of things, and they have no clue what they are. These are lungs. Now, the other things are a variety of things, but it's tissues. It's tissues. That's not some porphyritic accidental thing that happened. This is all biological stuff. All right? And then they show again here. Now they're showing it again over here. They have no clue what they're looking at because there's so much a variety of this stuff that they see in it and saying, "Oh, I don't know what to say about this," so they just throw a name on it. Why would all this stuff be shooting out? There's absolutely no reason whatsoever for any of this stuff to look the way it looks, other than for the fact that it was alive. Okay, last word. It's up to you as students, as people in society, to talk to your friends and everyone. And don't be afraid. You have the most solid support for every word that you can say based on this research. There is nothing here that is speculative whatsoever. So, if you don't speak up, you have not done your job. All right? You got to say something. You got to say something. When they're talking, you just say, have you seen Mud Fossil University? You got to come up to Mud Fossil University and see what this guy says. Look at this research. We are missing everything. And send this new video to your professors and to everyone that has anything to say about how wonderful academia is and the educational system, because it is failing miserably. All right, thank you.